Hi, welcome to the Crypto Republic. Before we dive in, if you're serious about staying ahead in this once-in-a-lifetime financial shift, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Republic. XRP on me. What just happened yesterday felt like a digital earthquake. If you're watching this right now, I want you to take a deep breath because what we just witnessed wasn't an accident. This was precision. This was surgical. This was orchestration. I was sitting here watching my screen go blood red, candles slicing through support levels like a hot knife through butter. And it's like watching a replay of 1929 in 4K. The kind of moment where you almost hear the silence before the panic kicks in. XRP, the coin, we've been stacking it, believing in, tracking every court filing and every institutional whisper around just got hammered. 50% gone in an hour. A clean liquidation event that wiped traders across the board. Now, I've been through crashes before. I've seen flash dips, coordinated dumps, and panic weekends. But this one felt different. Coinbase froze positions. Futures data disappeared. Binance order books went haywire. For a moment, it felt like the entire crypto system glitched, but it didn't. It worked exactly how they wanted it to. Because make no mistake, this wasn't chaos, this was strategy. Let's walk back what just happened. In the hours leading up to the XRP crash, liquidity was thinning out, low volume, high leverage, a perfect setup. Then right before the Friday close, bang, sell walls appeared out of nowhere. Massive orders dumped across multiple exchanges in perfect sync. Not retail, not emotional panic. This was algorithmic, old, calculated, and perfectly timed. XRP dropped from $3.10 to $1.25 in under an hour. On Binance alone, over 750 million in long positions were liquidated. Coinbase futures, Kraken, Bitstamp, all showing the same signature pattern. This wasn't organic selling. This was the equivalent of Wall Street's bear raids from the early 1900s, when the suits would pool capital to drive down stocks, trigger margin calls, scoop up cheap shares, and walk away with control. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly what we just saw. And right as this was happening, what hit the wire? New amendments rolling in for spot XRP ETFs, Bitwise, Grayscale, Franklin Templeton, Wisdom Tree, Canary, all quietly updating the S1 filings at the same time. Coincidence? No chance. So let me explain the manipulation. Here's how the game works, and it's the same game that's been played for over a century. When Wall Street wants in on an asset, they don't buy at the top. They engineer the bottom. They create panic. They flush out leverage. They shake out the believers. Then they step in wearing suits and smiles, buying the same assets we just got liquidated on, at pennies on the dollar. It's the oldest trick in the financial book, from the Rothschilds buying war bonds during the panic to JP Morgan's rescue of the 1907 market collapse. Every time the story is the same. Retail panic equals institutional opportunity. And this is XRP's crash. It was textbook. Because here's what's next. Mark my words. When the U.S. government shutdown wraps up and the SEC pen starts moving again, you're going to see those same ETFs, the ones quietly filed and renamed during the crash, get fast-tracked. And suddenly, the same institutions that crushed the price are going to sell you XRP exposure through ETFs at triple the price, while you cheer it as mainstream adoption. That's the playbook, and they've run it before. Imagine standing in 1929 on Wall Street, watching brokers toss ticker tape out of windows as crowds gather below, the crash unfolding in real time. Back then, they blamed speculation, but behind the scenes, liquidity was pulled, banks called loans. The market didn't crash on its own, it was pushed. Fast forward to 2020, oil futures going negative, retail traders blaming algorithms, but insiders, they profited billions off forced liquidations. Now 2025, the same movie, just digital, except instead of ticker tape, it's red candles. Instead of telegraphs, it's on-chain data. And instead of Wall Street's old boys club, it's global institutions, operating with more power and less oversight than ever. When the liquidation cascade hit XRP, wallets linked to institutional entities bought the dip in real time. That's not conspiracy, that's on-chain fact. Meanwhile, mainstream media barely mentioned it because they don't want panic, they want participation. They want you numb, not aware. Let's talk about psychology for a second. This is how manipulation survives. The market runs on emotion, greed, and fear. That's the dual engine behind every move. And the suits understand it better than anyone. When you see green candles, you feel confident. You buy more. When it turns red, you panic, you sell. They need you emotional because emotion equals volatility and volatility equals profit. They'll feed you narratives. XRP's done. Ripple's over. Regulators killed it. But notice what they don't say. The same entities funding anti-XRP sentiment online are accumulating through secondary vehicles. Think about it like poker. You're playing against people who can see your cards and still convince you're winning until they take the pot. And this crash, it was the bluff they called. While everyone's still recovering from the dip, here's what's moving behind the curtain. Updated S1 filings for multiple XRPs, ETFs. Revised tickers. Canary Capital's XRPC, institutional custody provider linking to RippleNet. They're preparing to sell the same asset to the world through regulated channels, to forcing retail out of the decentralized one. It's a digital version of what happened to gold in the 1930s. First, they scared the public out, then they centralized control. Then they revalue the asset under new terms. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Now, this is the global situation. Zoom out with me for a second. This isn't just about XRP. This is about the transition of money itself. While retail fights over memes and microcaps, global liquidity is shifting from legacy systems into tokenized rails. The IMF, BIS, central banks, they're all testing CBDCs. Ripple partnerships stretch across Europe, Asia, and Latin America. And what happens right now before every paradigm shift? A controlled demolition of the old system. Crash we saw could be that demolition, a short-term sacrifice for long-term reset. But if you're watching closely, the signs were all there. The same way the 2008 housing crash signaled the end of an era, this XRP event might be the beginning of the next. So XRP Army, what do we do now? We don't panic, we position. We don't sell into manipulation, we study it. We don't run from the storm, we learn to surf it. Because if history shows us one thing, it's that markets punish impatience, but reward conviction. The same community that survived the SEC lawsuits, the delistings, the FUD campaigns, just took another punch, but we're still here. And that tells me something powerful. They can manipulate price, but they can't manipulate purpose. When the dust settles and these ETFs go live, XRP will be at the center of something much bigger, the plumbing of the new financial order. So here's my takeaway. This wasn't just a crash. This was a cleansing. It exposed who's really in control and who's just reacting. The whales are patient. The institutions are coordinated. And the retail army, we've got something they don't, the numbers, the knowledge and community. So don't disappear. Don't give them your coins or your conviction. Learn from history. Stay grounded. Stay informed. And when the next pump comes, and it will come, remember who survived the crash and why. Because this is just one chapter in the story that's far from over. The same way 1929 gave birth to the strongest bull market in history. This manipulation might be the match that lights the next crypto renaissance. So yeah, it's been chaos. I've seen the charts, I felt the fear, and I've read the comments. But through all of it, I'm still here, and so are you. That means we're still in the game. And in this market, survival is victory. So hold your head high, XRP Army. We've seen the worst. Now let's prepare for what's next. Because if they went through all this to shake us out, what do you think they're getting ready for next? Stay focused, stay sharp, and as always, I'll see you on the other side. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button, ring the bell, leave a comment with your thoughts, turn on notifications, and most importantly, subscribe to the Crypto Republic, bringing you the truth about XRP, global banking moves, and the wealth transfer already unfolding. Don't just watch history happen. Stay informed, stay ahead, stay in the Republic.